والتسليم. صدق الله المولانا العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاكرين والشاهدين والحمد لله رب العالمين. All praise belongs to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, Lord of the worlds, Master on the day of judgment. May peace and salutations be on our beloved leader and guide, Sayyiduna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The holiday period is generally a time where people have spare time. We can either while our time in frivolous activities and at times sinful pursuits, or we can use this opportunity productively. And the free time that we have during the vacation and the holiday time, we can use it to bond with our families and use that quality time with our families. We live in a time when families are fragmenting and contentment seems a distant dream. A holiday spent with family and productively will bring our family close together and leave us with a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala makes mention in the verse of the Quran, وَمَا هَذِهِ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَهُ وَلَعِبٌ وَإِنَّ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانُ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. And this worldly life is not but diversion and amusement. And indeed, the home of the hereafter, that is the eternal life, only if people knew. So during this time where we have free time, we need to use it in a way where we can obey Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and in a way which will bring us closer to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had mentioned in a hadith, نِعْمَتَانِ مَغْبُونٌ فِيهِمَا كَثِيرٌ مِنَ النَّاسِ الصِّحَّةُ وَالْفَرَاغُ. There are two bounties which people take for granted. The first one is as-sihha, that is the good health that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has granted us. Those of us that Allah has granted us good life, let us be grateful and thankful to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala for this. And those that are ill and unwell, this is a cleansing of sin in a dua which is taught to us, La ba'sa tahurun insha'Allah. Do not despair, this is a cleansing of sins. So when a person is ill, there are two things that happens. One is that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala removes his sins that person had committed. If Allah so wishes, Allah can forgive his minor sins as well as major sins. And after the sins are erased and removed from that person, the second thing that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala does, that Allah elevates that person's status and stages in Jannah until Allah deems it appropriate and necessary, that Allah can raise his stages right up to Jannatul Firdaus, and at that time then Allah will take away his soul, because Allah has made it possible for him that you will enter into Jannatul Firdaus. We make dua to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that Allah grants us all Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. And the next bounty is wal faragh, free time. If we use the free time constructively and productively, then we're going to benefit from it. But if we do not use it in a correct manner, then we will look back many years later and we will say that only if I use that time correctly and in an appropriate manner. Many people, the elderly, always, what their foresight and their experience tell us that if we use your time correctly in a way pleasing to Allah wa ta'ala, then you have done well in the world. Otherwise, you will be like those people who will look back with regret that I should have used my free time in the way getting closer to Allah wa ta'ala. The good health that Allah wa ta'ala had given me, I should have used it correctly. Now that I'm ill, I'm unable to do those things which I could have done when I had the good health. So thank Allah wa ta'ala on an ongoing basis for the good health that Allah wa ta'ala has granted us. And just to share with you some pointers with regards to a productive holiday. There are 18, inshallah we will complete the 18 in the time that is allocated to us this afternoon. And we use these points not only during this holiday, but in any holiday that comes our way. The first one is that we should be regular with our 5 daily salah. This is the great command of Allah wa ta'ala that we should fulfill in every given moment and time. Whether we are ill, whether we are on a journey, we have to fulfill this command of Allah wa ta'ala. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had mentioned in a hadith, صلاة الجماعة أفضل من صلاة الفذ ب27 درجة. That the performance of salah with jama'ah is 27 times better than that salah which is performed individually. So if we are at home during the holiday period, make sure we frequent the masjid so that we can get the reward that is awaiting us. And if we are on holiday also, if we are nearby a musalla or a masjid, or we are going with our family and we are able to perform salah with jama'ah, then we will get the same reward. Don't let it be that all these opportunities are there before us and we leave it and we let it go by. Remember, salah on a holiday or vacation is half and not maf. Meaning, we know the rules with regards to performing salah on a journey, that the 4 rakats of fard salah becomes qasr, that it is shortened. But if we are performing the salah in a masjid, in a musalla, then we follow the imam and we perform the 4 rakats of salah. Definitely we are going to be rewarded by Allah wa ta'ala. The second one, that if we are at home, or even we can use this on holiday as well, we are going to be staying in a resort or in a hotel, that we assist our wives with the household chores. This was the habit of the best of the creation of Allah wa ta'ala, that is Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He would help his beloved wives with the household chores. And if the best from the creation of Allah wa ta'ala did this action, then why should we not do this action as well? And by doing this action, we are following the sunnah of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned in a hadith, Man ahya sunnati faqad ahabbani. That person who revives and brings a sunnah in his life, faqad ahabbani, for indeed he loves me. وَمَنْ أَحَبَّنِي, and that person who loves me, كَانَ مَعِيَ فِي الْجَنَّةِ, will be with me in Jannah. May Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala grant us to be with Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Jannah. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. The third one, that we help our family members that are in some kind of difficulty, some kind of problem, some kind of challenge. And we will be rewarded tremendously by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. That person who learns his family lineage and he cares about his family and he keeps the family together, what is the promise of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in light of the hadith? That person will have a prolonged life and he will have lots of sustenance. And each one of us seated here, we want a long life and we want extra in our provision, in our sustenance. So by virtue of looking after our families, this is how we are going to get that from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Number 4, if we are able to teach a skill, something that we know that we have with us and we can share it with the people in our community, we should by all means do that, because like we said in the beginning, we have the free time. So use that free time in teaching people, whether it's old people, whether it is the younger people, whether it's the youth, and whether it's Muslim or non-Muslim. We are going to teach somebody that skill which will live with them forever and ever, and they will most probably teach it to somebody else, and we are going to get that reward of teaching that skill to those people in our community. Number 5, that we do sunnah sport. Now all the other sports that is available, is nothing wrong with it, we can play those sports. But over and above that, we try and implement the sunnah sport that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had played in his time. That is, we're talking about horse riding, swimming, archery, etc. So if we do those kind of sport, we will definitely be getting rewarded by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, as well as our fitness will be in check. And if we play the other sport also, there's no issue, there's no harm, as long as it is done in a correct manner, not in a way breaking the commands of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Number 6, and this is many of us, even myself included, are falling short with regards to reading. Taking a novel or Islamic literature and we read. Because what will this do to us? It will enhance our knowledge as well as our vocabulary. We know in today's time everything is there on our devices, so it's easy access for us. So for a moment, we must just move away from the screen and physically read. We will see what good it will do to us. And there are many people, I know of learners in the school, in the madrasa, that whenever there's some free time at their disposal, they will take this book out, or the novel, or the Islamic literature, whatever it might be, and they will read. And most importantly, as parents, we must make sure that our children are reading the appropriate novels and the appropriate Islamic literature. Because if we do not keep a check on them, it could be that they might be reading something which will take them away from the deen of Islam. And then we got a very difficult task of bringing them back onto the deen of Islam. So as parents, ask them what they are reading, check what they are reading. If we are not sure whether it's a novel, whether it's Islamic literature, ask the ulama and they will guide us. And many a times I found learners, they are busy reading a certain novel or a certain Islamic book, and they come across something which they're not aware of or something that is new to them. Then they will come to us and they will ask, is it correct, can we do this and whatever, and then in this way we guide them and we assist them with regards to that. Number 7, we need to limit screen time. It's very difficult in this day and age, but especially in this free time that we have at our disposal, we are with our families, we are engaging with them. And how sad it is, they are all sitting with us and everybody is on their device. So we are connected to people in the different parts of the world, but we are disconnected by those people right in front of us. And as parents, we have given our children those devices. So we can say to them that no cell phones or gadgets when we are going to be having supper, or when we are going to be sitting together, and when we are engaging with one another. It's not difficult. If we just put our mind to it, we will be able to fulfill that. It could be difficult in the beginning, but if we just adapt our mind to it, that you know what, for 1 hour or for 1.5 hours or 2 hours, or even sometimes it could go for half a day without our gadgets. And we'll see how much of ease and how much of goodness it brings to our lives. Because all the time, 24/7, we want our gadgets. We're waiting for the message to come through. We want to forward a message, etc. We want to know what is happening, who's gone for Umrah, who's gone to Turkey. We see it on their Facebook feed or on the Instagram posts. So we do not need to know where they are going, what they are up to. We must just enjoy the time that we have in front of us. Those people that are close to us, that is our family members. Number 8, and this we hear it all the time, whether it's a short holiday or it's a long holiday. The children go to the parents and they say, we are bored. Now when they say they are bored, then as parents we need to engage them, we need to talk to them, we need to connect with them. Because if we do not, then they're going to get it via social media or from the wrong friends that are out there. And I normally tell the children, even in school, sometimes they got free time, or my children at home, that they are bored, they don't know what to do, they have played and they are now exhausted all that, whatever they have at their disposal. So I normally tell them, take the Quran and read some Quran. Subhanallah. And they read the Quran and we find that all their boredom is gone. They are connecting themselves with Allah and with the words of Allah. And that will bring contentment to one's heart. Because Allah says in the Quran, Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. Verily, if we want contentment of heart, we must be in the remembrance of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. One is by making the dhikr of Allah, and the other is by reciting the verses of the Quran. I just told you now with regards to reading. We read so many novels, so many Islamic literature, etc. The authors do not even know that we exist. But subhanallah, when we read the Quran, the author is Allah, and Allah is rewarding us for every letter that we recite. This is something great compared to any other literature we might be reading. Because Allah says in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says in the hadith, that person, من قرأ حرفا من كتاب الله فلو به حسنة والحسنة بعشر أمثالها. That person, when he recites from the book of Allah, every letter is multiplied by, when he reads every letter, it is multiplied 10 times. Then Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam further says, لا أقول ألف لام ميم حرف. I do not say alif lam mim is one letter, but rather alif is one, lam is one, and mim is one. So when a person recites alif lam mim, you got 30 rewards. And then the ulama go further, that they break up alif into 3, alif, lam, and fa. So for the letter alif, the person is going to get 30 rewards. Subhanallah. So this is an ideal opportunity in reciting Quran al Kareem. We will make mention of that just now as well. Number 9, we make sure that we recite the ahadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in our homes. By doing this, it will make our children aware of the lifestyle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam lifestyle was very, very, very simple. Not a life of luxury, but rather a life of simplicity. Reason being, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you ask Allah, you would have got whatever you wanted. But Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted a simple life. So you and I, when we come into this world and we have come here, and we have to look at if Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam led a luxury life, we will want to follow that life. But now when we look at the simple life of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we can look at our lives and thank Allah that we have so much compared to what the beloved of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had. Number 10, we recite the Quran as parents and make sure that our children are doing the revision of their surahs and du'as. I normally tell the children in the Muslim school or in the madrasa that you don't have to take out your Quran and the dua kitab to go and revise your du'as and surahs. When you perform your salah, recite all the surahs that you know. In that way, you're making the revision. The daily du'as, when we wake up, when we go to sleep, before eating, after eating, etc., that is how our du'as will be revised, inshallah. Number 11, bonding time with our children. This is very, very healthy. Like we alluded to it earlier, if we do not, they're going to get it on social media or out there, and then we got a serious problem on our hands. Number 12, we, the parents, the people in our community can take those young boys and girls to visit the orphanages, hospitals, etc., to make them aware of how the people are going through difficulty, what their sickness, and they don't have food, etc. Right? So in that way, our children can thank and be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 13, there are a lot of people that will be coming into this masjid during the holiday period, or we might go somewhere else. Then we got that opportunity to making new friends, and that will help us later on in our lives. Number 14, we need to do something different from the norm. Every day in our life, when we are working, we're going to school, we're going to madrasa, we got a routine that we follow. So now during the holiday period, we move away from that. Number 15, the boys can assist with the cleaning of the masjid or the ghusl khana and whatever else, and making them aware of the reward that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has got in store for that. Number 16, hand out clothes, food, etc. to the poor and needy in the community. Maybe it could be but far out from our communities, but take our children along. They will be grateful for this opportunity and be also thankful to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Number 17, making the dhikr and durood of Allah, sending the durood to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam every day. And the last one, visiting our family, and we alluded to the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well, that we keep and maintain our family ties at all times. We make dua to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that Allah grants us the ability to use the free time that we have available in the way that we will be obedient to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and not in a way we will bring the punishment and the disobedience of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And even in this moment in time, we make dua to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that Allah assist and send His special assistance on our brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Syria, and in the different parts of the world. May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala grant us the understanding. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ. Before commencing with the sunnah, all the brothers are requested to come forward. There's lots of space in the masjid, as well as after the Jummah Salah, there will be a millah collection. Brothers can open their hearts in this, and Allah will reward me, inshallah.